Ruth Ann. I am taking some inspiration from Annie S., who is a perfume channel here on YouTube that I greatly admire. She did a video yesterday pairing activities that a couple could do on Valentine's Day with different fragrances. And so I am going to copy her theme, but choose the type of activities that my husband and I would do on any given Valentine's Day if we set aside that day to do things together. So I'm going to start out with the first activity as walking or going on a hike, and the scent that I chose for this is Halston. This is the original female Halston fragrance. This came out in the 70s, specifically 1975. It's a chypre floral. Opens with real green leafy notes, bergamot, and then it dries down to a florally cedar oak moss. Also has a lot of sandalwood and amber in the base. It's a very strong scent, lasts 8+ hours. It's also very complex, very rich, warm. I find it to be very inviting. And because of that oak moss outdoorsy quality, it really holds up in outdoors, windy conditions. So that's why I chose it for hiking. It's not a safe blind buy. It's not very expensive, but if you like classic chypres, this Halston is very much worth giving a try. I recommend it. Next up, I have chosen horseback riding. That's an activity that my husband and I have enjoyed throughout the years and with our children when they were still home. So for this I chose Revlon's Charlie Blue. And this also is a classic 70s chypre released in 1973. The primary note here is oak moss. It also has notes of geranium, sandalwood, musk, rose, and jasmine. I don't really pick up the jasmine, but you do get rose. This also holds up really well to windy outdoor conditions. It's very unisex, lasts 6 to 8 hours. It has moderate projection, and it's very earthy. And whenever I wear this, I always think of horseback riding. It just is kind of like I picture a woman wearing riding boots and a riding jacket, and so that's why I chose it. I think it's a perfect choice. If you like oak moss, I highly recommend this fragrance. You'll probably love it. So next I've chosen, my husband and I like to go to the gym and do a lot of working out. It's one of our favorite activities to do together during the day. We don't work out together, but we go there and we're working out at the same time, of course. This is Joop pour Femme, or Joop, the female scent. This one came out in the early 80s. It's very strong, white, floral, woody fragrance. It has a real powdery amber vanilla base, and it holds up really well under hot and sweaty conditions, and that's why I chose it to go for working out in the club. I always feel when I wear this while I'm working out that it's keeping me company. I constantly have this beautiful, warm vanilla, ambery vanilla that I'm smelling. It's a very bright, happy, long-lasting fragrance that I just love. The next activity that I've chosen is running. My husband and I often like to go running together. And for that I chose Jessica Simpson's Fancy Nights. And this is a fragrance that I know not a lot of people like, but I really enjoy this. This is a modern chypre that came out in the 2000s. It's a very oriental smelling, notes of papyrus, bergamot, dries down to a very ambery patchouli with a strong oak moss. It projects really well. It's very strong. I love to wear this running because even in windy conditions, it's constantly, I'm smelling it and I just absolutely love it. And it's one, even when my husband and I run together, that he can smell. It's that strong. A couple of sprays and you're good with this one. And if you like chypres and you're a runner, this is the one for you. Okay, so next up, I've chosen going to church. My husband and I go to church together very frequently, and Valentine's Day is also St. Valentine's Day. So one of my favorite church scents is Guerlain Vol de Nuit, which means fly by night or night flight. This is a 1933 floral aldehyde. It's primary note is powdery iris. It also has green notes, and it dries down to a real musky, warm, spicy, kind of aromatic fragrance that I find very comforting. What's great about it for church is it wears really close to the skin, so I can smell it, but not everybody in the pews around me can smell it, so it's perfect for church. And next, I have chosen, oftentimes we like to travel, because we live in the Midwest, we like to travel to warmer destinations. So for that, going to the beach, perhaps in Mexico, is Estee Lauder's white linen. And the reason I chose white linen is because it's hard to find fragrances that hold up in tropical heat. This one I find performs beautifully. It's a floral fresh aldehyde. It has notes of lemon, hyacinth, and a base of vetiver, cedar, and benzoin. This is made by Sofia Grosjean, who is my favorite perfumer, and she created this in 1978, and she describes it as, quote, the purity of white linen drying in the sun. I find that it's just the depiction of cool elegance. It's strong and it lasts, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So the next activity, we're moving into the evening now, is if we were to have dinner in, cooking in, eating in, and I've chosen Lolita Lempicka Midnight. Lolita Lempicka Midnight. So this is very similar to the original Lolita, but it's a more dark, gothic version of it. It's a real oriental woody, powdery anise. I've heard it described as licorice and candied violets, and I think that's very accurate. It's a really rich, deep scent. I find it doesn't project hugely, but maybe mild to moderate. Lasts a good 6 hours. And I picked this up on eBay for like 20 bucks. So some of the Lolitas are very expensive and some are more reasonable. And this one I really enjoy. So next is dinner out. And for that I chose Elizabeth Arden's, sorry about the, okay, so this is Elizabeth Arden's Fifth Avenue Royale. And it's this beautiful black bottle with gold writing. This is an oriental fragrance, and it's got notes of leather, liquor, raspberry, patchouli, and suede. In my opinion, it's very sexy, seductive. It's an extremely well-blended evening. What I like to think of as a grown-up clubbing. You know, I'm in my 50s. I'm not clubbing, but when I go out, I still like to wear kind of a sexy, seductive kind of scent. This is a deep, dark, that's been compared to Valentino Donna Noir Absolute, which is discontinued. It lasts a good 6 to 7 hours. It's very reasonably priced, and I highly recommend it. I'm sorry that it's cut off. The top of it is cut off by my camera, but there it is. So Elizabeth Arden's Fifth Avenue Royale. Next up, I have dancing. So my husband and I love dancing. We don't do it very often, but we do love to dance. And for that, I picked Chanel No. 5. This is the original classic EDP that was released in the 20s. This is one of our favorite perfumes. And when we dance, he often will put his nose up to my neck and say, "Oh, you smell beautiful." And Chanel No. 5 always will elicit that reaction from him. This, of course, is an aldehydic floral, but it dries down to a beautiful soapy musk. It smells very classy, rich, and expensive. Quite frankly, it smells like pure class and that you paid a lot of money for, and it lasts a good 6+ hours. One of my absolute favorites. So for my 10th and last fragrance, I chose Movie Night, snuggling on the couch. So movie night at home. And you may be surprised by this after all my classic scents, but this is Britney Spears' fantasy rocker Femme. And I chose this one because it's one of my husband's favorites. It's a fruity floral gourmand. Came out in 2014. Top notes are whipped cream, coconut, and blackberry, and you do get all three of those notes. It dries down to a real woody, vanilla, sweet musk. It's very lactonic. So it has this real beautiful, sweet, creamy scent, and it's very sexy. Smells like a dessert. But what I like about it is it doesn't smell childish. And it's one of my top compliment getters. So that's it. I have 10 fragrances for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. Have a nice Valentine's Day.